and record. Okay, now you can go.
Okay, I'll call this Finance Committee meeting open, and I'll call it to order. Brian, give me a roll call.
Keller,
Present.
Osbury,
Present.
Hankinson. Hankinson, as I hear, he's out tonight.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, so Bob's absent. Also in attendance, we got the mayor, we got the village administrator, and we also got Brian. Approval of the minutes of March the 8th.
I read them. I make a motion. We approve.
And I second. Roll call, Brian.
Osbury,
Yes.
Keller,
Yes. Motion carries. Visitors, mayor, is anybody on, or you know if anybody got any
No,
questions?
got nothing. Got nothing for this one.
Okay, the goal for 2021. Keep spending within the 2021 appropriation. I guess that's a good thing. I think we're still doing okay, aren't we, Brian?
yeah.
Okay, we'll get into your report. I just wanted you to say yes. I didn't want you to say no. Okay, old business, none. New business, review the monthly financials. Brian, you want to start off in?
Okay. For March, we end up with a book and bank balance of $2,061,580.08. Let's see, receipts last month was total $371,971 rounded. Total expenditures was $211,427. The adjustment there is an NSF check that that's what that adjustment's for. It's an NSF check. Other adjusting factors of $1,800. That's a check that was as in the notes down there. Check 6775 that was got kind of sterling by one day, so that cleared in April 1 rather than March 31st. And then the other adjusting factor is the automatic transfer between the accounts.
Okay.
We had outstanding checks of $6,000 last month, and one outstanding deposit, which is a credit card receipt for water and sewer receipts.
Okay.
Any questions on the reconciliation?
I don't have any.
Good.
Okay, the next page then starts the check register, and like I mentioned earlier,
3142.
wrote $211,427 in checks last month. First page there is nothing. Second page there, if you wanted to know, I did write a $22,478 check to Warwood Armature Repair Company. That was for a pump for the sewer department. That was one that they ordered before the end of the year. It came during sometime in January, February, and paid for last month. That does not go against this year's appropriations. That when it gets charged against last year's appropriations.
Okay, I was just going to ask you that. Okay.
Yeah, that was charged against last year's. And the only other weird one, well, on page 3, Coblin, that was the grinder pump that council approved last month for the then and now. They wanted to point that one out. That got paid. And I don't think there's anything else out of the ordinary vendor-wise on the payment listing.
I'm sure People's Bank, I just paying off a loan, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's the water plant loan monthly. That's a monthly payment.
Yeah. And I'm just looking at the big ones. Okay. I don't have any more questions on payment listing.
Yeah, I'm
Okay,
good.
moving on to the finance report. Star Ohio. We lost another 60 cents in interest. It was only $35.24. Rita's distribution last month was $70,238. There's the appropriation status there for the general fund. And as you can see, this is for the March, so everyone should be at or below 25%, and all the big funds there are below that number right now.
Yep.
And the revenue status, again, we should be at 25% for the general fund there. That's just for the general fund. And we're already pretty much income setting that one. Yeah, income tax is slightly less, about 3 percentage points less than where we should be right now. But that's everyone, and a little bit less on the police contract, but they pay monthly, and it's based on when I invoice. And it's time to invoice the school again for the ESSER, so that should go right back up again. Everything else, we're above the curve right now.
All right, everything looks good then.
And then since we passed appropriations last month, I'm giving you the next one is the appropriations report for the general fund, the street fund, the water fund, the sewer fund, the pool fund, and the storm fund, and a grand total for all the funds. And as you can see, all by the percentages there, we're within the 25% range, except one line, the capital outlay and the sewer fund. But that's because there's been a lot of issues out there right now.
Wait, what?
Is there a reason for that, Brian, or just that this quarter is just a normal?
No, there's been a lot of issues on this. Terry can fill that in, but there's been a lot of issues with the sewer plant where we've had to buy a few things this year. Right, Terry? Is that correct?
Sorry, I was on mute. That
Oh.
is correct. So, Brad is going to be on later, Mr. Keller, during council to give council and everybody an update on our pressing of the sludge and stuff. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask him.
Okay,
I
we'll
don't mean
wait.
Brad. I don't mean Brad Mayer. I mean Brad from the wastewater treatment plant.
Yeah, okay, I knew who you meant. Yeah, okay.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. No, that's,
Oh, you can
Wait a
ask.
minute.
I mean,
So-
where you going?
I'm looking for my appropriation status report. Was it sent out?
Yeah, it was set out with a packet that Barb sent out.
Finance. It's not part of the PowerPoint, right?
No, it's not part of the PowerPoint. There was the reconciliation and check register was one document. The PowerPoint.
I see it.
Okay.
I got it. I got it. It didn't show up initially in download, but I got it. Okay.
I'm looking at the overall. I mean, the pool. If you look at the appropriation status there for the pool, we're only at 1% right now. But I want to throw caution in the wind on the pool right now because what's going on out there. We've been, with the pool renovations going on. We budgeted $46,000 to repair and maintenance for the pools. Right now, we've pretty much encumbered that entire dollar amount almost. So I just want to throw caution in the wind. This is hopefully whatever the prices come under, but I just want to throw caution in on that particular line at the pool.
yeah, I was going to say 1.117. Yeah, I'm going to say.
I just know I tabulated a PO last week for $33,000 for the concrete, which because they needed a required down payment of $16,000 50% up front. And another 9,000 for another, what was the other company for? Painting, was that painting, Terry?
Yes.
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 So that pretty much chunked up that 46,000 in those two vendors right there.
Well, I imagine, I've seen the Smith trucks going back there, 3 today and 2 last week, so I've been counting them, so I know. It's a.
And I,
that's not
you know, and I bring this up and I hope, I hope we get some more. I mean, we're spending all this money to benefit the pool, but the applications for lifeguards and stuff is not coming in right now, and I'm getting worried.
Yeah, I know. I talked to Tim and I said, that'd be awful. We spend all this money and we can't open because we don't have the help. That would be really a bummer.
Have we,
Any suggestions on how to send that out? I put it on Facebook. I put it on the swimming pool Facebook page. I took a flyer to the school. Terry mentioned last week that Dr. Johnson was going to mention it and make the announcement for maybe some of the teachers might want to be a manager, something to do for the summer. I'm at wit's end on what we should do. I mean, we're getting close to the middle of April.
have we thought of putting anything about getting something in the next issue of the Town Crier or something like that?
Well, I guess we could. Who do I contact there? I really don't. Is there some information in the Town Crier that I can contact?
I was just going to say,
I don't have it top
Go
of my
online,
head, but
Brian.
Okay.
Go online, Brian.
Okay.
You'll see it.
All right.
yeah, because I think we need to, I don't know if, we got to get outside of Baltimore to attract a couple people too. I don't know if there's any place that could be posted in Pickerington or Lancaster. I don't know if they have a buy, share, sell. We have the We Love community Facebook page. I don't know if Pickerington and Lancaster have one that you can maybe post it on.
Okay, Brian, you got anything else?
That's about it. Unless you have any other questions.
No,
Yeah,
I
none for
don't.
me.
No.
Everything looks like it makes sense to me.
Okay, if we're done with Brian, we'll go to number 2, Federal Rescue Plan Fund. I'm sure that's the money we're getting from the federal government. Is that correct?
yes.
Or is that something else?
Nope, that's correct.
Okay, that's what I thought it was.
That's it. And I don't have any further update other than I did send out to everybody those slides that I had from my meeting. But beyond that, I don't have any more update. Mayor, do you have any more update?
I don't either at this point. I think everybody's still waiting for the official from the Treasury Department
Right.
publications of how it's going to go.
Well, I did get an auditor state bulletin last week. I haven't fully read through it yet. So, I mean, it talked about some scenarios in there on how to account for these monies, but I haven't fully read the bulletin yet.
Yeah, well, I read the bulletin, Brian, and you're right. It's just more or less telling you how to keep track of these and what kind of account you should open up. So, but I think what the mayor and I are referencing is we still don't know how we can use the money totally yet.
Oh, that's true.
So, Brad, was there any clarification on infrastructure? Like, for instance, specifically water distribution?
I haven't seen anything yet from
No.
the last time, though it was mentioned in the one I was in, and it was mentioned in Terry's slides that you could use it. So we're looking better and better that is included there. So
Correct.
Yeah, it'd be nice to stick some water lines up and stuff. I mean, that's, you hear a lot of complaints about the water, so boy, we can put some money in some water.
Yeah, I think that'd be a good priority.
it would be nice. Keep in mind though, if our distribution remains as originally projected, that's still only about 3% of the total we were asking for in the last bond levy to replace everything.
Yeah.
And what was the cost of the loop project, Terry? Do you know off the top of your head?
85,000, I believe, and that loop project is being considered by small governments right now. So in other words, am I on? No, I'm not on mute. So in other words, we didn't get funded through OPWC, but we did on Friday submit to small governments. We were an alternative project for them to consider, and it looks like they're going to consider us, and that was for the loop project. The terms would be the same, what we promised that we would pay, what we're asking in grants, et cetera. So that is a possibility. Like I said, that deadline was just last Friday. We just got that in at the end of business day Friday.
But I guess my point is
I'm
the
sorry.
small governments is a loan only, a 0%, are loans.
That's what I
So-
thought, but in this case, it is not. They are going
It
to
is
keep the
correct.
same terms because they had enough money turned back in. If, however, they come back and say, you have to take all loans, then we have a right to tell them that we're going to pass. We're not
Right.
committed.
Eh,
Yes, and I
and-
won't,
The overall loop project though was only $85,000.
I believe that's what it was. If you want me to look it up.
No,
I
that,
could.
that was our share of the cost. It was like 200 and some odd thousand to like
Yeah.
two.
Yeah, that's what I
85
thought. Why
was
were we doing
ours.
it? Why were we doing a grant for 85? So it was 200. So our recovery funds, rescue plan funds would cover that entire project if we didn't get the grant and wanted
That
to
is a
proceed with
correct
that project.
That is a correct statement.
That'd be a good use, yes.
Considering that's only a 3/4 inch service line in some of the areas down there.
So if we do get the small government, you said it's a grant?
Some of it's a grant. The way that we asked that it be distributed was for 92,284 being a grant, and 46,500 being a loan. And that way, it comes up to the total project cost was 224,368. And that's with us putting 85,584 down. So that's the way we presented to OPWC. I, like the mayor, was under the impression that small governments came back and didn't give us grants. They only gave us loans. But I guess in this case, Mike at Bird and Bull was told, B3 was told that there was some grant money and that it would be just like we presented. But if it's not, we can always say, sorry, we can't take another loan. So,
Well,
Just-
and if they do say, well, it's not a grant, it's a loan, and we want to proceed with that project, that's something we could, at least at this point, look at, prioritize under our rescue plan fund money.
correct.
And if it's 220 and we're looking at 600,000, a little less than 600,000 in that, that's less than 50% of those funds to do that big project.
Right.
Do we have any other water distribution areas?
Oh yeah.
We've
We've
figured
got-
out what that's.
I think I would like to see a larger distribution line ran down Washington Street. I think it would help move the water better. And I think Washington Street connection connects to a lot of the other areas. And if you're, I can ask the guys at staff to go ahead and put together something if you like, so you know what we're talking about. But that is very costly because we want to go up to a 10 or 12 inch.
Right.
We should have that though, Terry, when we did last year, the year before. Well, it would have been the year before, but it's 19 because we were still meeting in person. When we did the water infrastructure replacement 5-year capital improvement plan.
That is true.
We should have all that. We should have all that on there, the loop
Except-
project, and then we could go down to the next project on that list.
Except that And that's true, we could do that, but as you know, priorities change and so do prices of doing the job. So I think it needs to be revisited.
Yeah, I agree. I think we should look at them all and look at the cost so we can figure, well, okay, it's 200 some thousand for the loop, you know, Washington Street, maybe 200,000. So we use it all at, you know, the best practice.
Correct.
So, yeah, that'd be a good idea to get hold of, you know, Tim in the street department and
Right.
water department, see where we're at.
We'll discuss it at staff.
Good.
Nick, did we make a motion to accept the financial reports? Did I miss that? I'm taking
No,
notes.
you did not miss that. I will entertain a motion to do that.
Thanks,
That's
Chuck.
great. Makes a motion. We accept the finance reports.
And I will second that. Brian, roll call.
No, Chuck, you made the motion and Cosgray
Oh,
second.
did we? Okay, did we already do that?
No.
No, I didn't think so. Can we, that was a minute.
I'll second the motion.
Yeah, you made the
Okay.
motion, Cosgray. I was just correcting you made the motion and Cosgray seconded it.
Okay,
So
all
anyway,
right.
anyway, Keller
Yes,
and Cosgray.
Yes.
motion carries. All right, I don't see anything else under new business. Does anybody have anything that they want to bring up in the finance meeting?
Yeah, I don't
Yep.
have anything.
Anybody else have anything? Any? Okay, next meeting will be May the 10th at 6 o'clock. The meeting's adjourned.
Awesome.
What time did you open
Good,
it?
quick meeting.
Yeah, that was a quick meeting. Wish it was all that quick. Thanks.
Chuck,
Yes,
what time did you open that?
6 o'clock,
Okay, we closed at
6:22.
6:22. Thank you.
All right, Mike. You're next.
Oh, we ready?
I don't know if Rick's on here yet or not.
Yeah, I'm on.
You on?
Yeah.
Okay. We'll call the order of the Rules Committee to order then at 6:23. And Brian, could you give us a roll call reading?
Yeah, Hamilton,
Present.
Keller,
Present.
Foreman,
Present.
And also in attendance, we have the mayor, Terry, physical officer, and is Chief on yet?
Yes,
GC's on there.
DC's on, yeah.
Okay, I thought I saw him on there. Approval of minutes from March 8th, 2021.
Mike, I read them and I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes as printed and emailed out.
Orman seconds.
Okay. Brian,
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman,
Yes.
Hamilton,
yes. Wait a minute. Anything come in from visitors yet, Mayor? None?
Double check. I did get a new email, but it does not appear. Nope.
Okay. Goals for 2021 cemetery project.
Nothing to report tonight.
Nothing to report tonight. Okay. Rules of council.
Nothing to report tonight.
The COVID policy.
Nothing to report tonight.
How about the pay plan then?
Nothing to report tonight.
All our work in order, correct?
Pardon me?
Anything under old business then?
Nope.
I have something under old business, Terry. I may have read it wrong. Hold on just a second till I find it,
Okay,
because I circled it in here. And it might not have been this. It might have been for a regular council meeting. Okay, we're free. It's for the regular council.
okay.
Vaccination policy.
Vacation policy.
Okay.
Okay, vacation
Big
policy.
Big difference there.
Hey, it's been a bad day for me.
That's all right. So I have put this on the agenda tonight for a couple of reasons. Based on, you know, our favorite friend COVID, and also based on just how last year we wanted to try to update our employee manual. Our employee manual was written when Marcia was here, which was a while ago at least. And oh, thank you, Mayor. And this portion of the vacation section, I have highlighted two sentences that I'd like to just discuss. We don't have to vote on it tonight, but I'd just like to have your opinion. And let me give you a scenario. So this is saying that an employee can only carry over up to 40 hours vacation time from 1 year to the next. What it's not saying to you is that they lose it. Losing it means they don't even get paid for it. And that's where I have an issue. I think we have a small staff, and like last year for COVID, and let me use Missy as an example. So last year after COVID hit, Missy was the one that kept the office afloat. She kept the phones answered. She did everything, you know, that whole period, the whole summer, clear down to October, et cetera, you know, she was focused on just keeping the office running for us. And lo and behold, this year, she lost 111 or 114 vacation hours. I mean, actually lost. I have an issue with that because I think our employees deserve the vacations they work for. I think that if you, and this is one of the things I want to just talk about this tonight, and then you can direct me to where you want to go. If you look at other vacation policies that other entities are, you know, even like colleges, universities, factories, you name it, say that if you don't take your vacation by the end of the year, then they just pay you for that vacation. That's time you earned. I think that we need to talk about ours because I think that we have such a small staff, meaning, okay, if I have somebody working on, say, the pool project, and I have to put all my staff over there, and we do that, and we take up all of April, May, and then we move on to our water line projects, and then we move on to our street projects. If you're getting my drift here, you can see that all the summer months are gone and nobody got a chance to take any vacation at all because we have such a small staff. You know, I think it's important that our staff be able to do just that. You know, if they don't take vacation by the end of the year, they have a choice to get, maybe we leave it, they carry over 40 hours and the balance they get paid for. Maybe we could do it like that so that there's some carryover and not total payout. You know, if you read further, I think if you read further down here, in fact, if you get terminated or if you resign and quit, guess what you get? You get your vacation 100% paid out. So it doesn't seem to be right that if someone gets terminated or someone quits, they get their past vacation due them. But if someone is, you know, doesn't have time to take a vacation, you know, they lose their hours. And I don't think that wage commission would like that. I think that we have to look at that conflict here. The other thing I don't like is that it says vacation time cannot be taken in less than 2 hours increments. You know, sometimes, you know, there is like, especially on a Friday or Monday, the guys will say, hey, it's, you know, an hour before their their time and they've already cleaned up, they're done for the day. Can we just take vacation time and go? And I think they should be allowed to do it. I think, again, because we're such a small staff, I believe that it should be the appointing authority, or whoever that would be, myself or the mayor for the police department, should have the ability to say, sure, you have time coming, and you want to use an hour, let's go ahead and do it. Send me the paperwork. So again, I think we need to look at these. I think this needs to be changed to a more workable policy. And I think we need to take into consideration what we can do about Missy's pay. Now, I did have a consulting time with Missy and said to her, that is very important, Missy, because you have a lot of vacation coming, that you kind of plan ahead to let us know. So Missy has submitted to me her 2021 vacation hours, of which she uses all that's due her for this year. But she still has that 111 or 114 hours that are outstanding. So, I'm trying to fix the issue, but I think I need some help here with different wording. Now, that was a lot that I just said. I like to just be quiet for a moment and listen to what all of you have to say about it.
Well, and if I can pipe in, I guess I feel kind of bad. I didn't realize the guys and ladies could not carry over more than 40 hours. To me, that's a little ridiculous. I mean, at a minimum, they should be able to carry over 80 hours, 2 weeks of vacation, so that if someone wanted to have an extended vacation, they could. Granted, it's been a long time since I worked a normal position where I got vacation, but I used to be able to carry over 240 hours, which would have completely solved Missy's problem. But I think we need to look at that time, and, at a minimum, I think it needs to be 80 hours carryover, if not potentially, 120 or 160 hours, so that they can build some of that time and use it and not run into losing it, like Terry said. So.
Okay, let me give you my thoughts. For one thing, I think Missy should have got paid. Where I worked at, I never took my vacation. At the end of the year, I always got paid my vacation. So anybody that got vacation should either work it or take it off or get paid, should get paid. 40 hours, if you go too much over 40 hours, then you're gonna get in the same trouble you might get into. Somebody taking off, let's say 3 months or 2 months, because they had all these extra hours. Then you're going to have Terry might get in the bind, or everybody wants vacation and I can't give them because this one person got 3 months off in the summer and I can't have 2 people off. So you might be getting into a bind there by carrying 2 more than 40 hours.
But we could solve that though by saying you could carry over up to, if we said 160 hours, but you can't take more than, 2 weeks or 3 weeks at a consecutive time. So that you could avoid that person taking 6 weeks off or 8 weeks off with their current year's time. So we can allow them to carry over more, but limit how consecutive they can use it.
I think, can I say something here? I think,
yeah.
I think the 80 would be good. I'm willing to go another week maybe, but I think they'd rather just be paid and have it behind them. And I think we should just pay them for what they don't use. If they want to carry it over, fine. I think maybe 80 would be good, and just pay them for the difference. Just because, it starts building up and carrying on, and they really don't have anywhere they want to go. They feel obligated to go on vacation. If I go on vacation for more than 7 days, I'm looking for something to do, like a job. I can't do it. So some of it isn't about the money. It's about just having a purpose in life, and this is their life, So I think we should just pay them, maybe raise it to 80 hours, but I don't see the need to have 4 or 6 weeks or whatever that is. I don't think they really want that. I think they'd rather just be paid.
And I agree. I
What about-
like the big money and big check at the end of the year. Yeah, I kind of like that myself. And I think that, I agree with you, Rick. It's nice to get a pretty good check there around Christmas time.
Yeah,
If you don't-
I think they'd rather have that than 6 weeks vacation. I was like, what am I gonna do with that? You know, they'll
Yeah.
save it to retirement is what they'll do. Because they don't know
You're
what
right,
to do
Rick.
with it while they're working.
Not everybody are big vacationers, you know, and I am much like you, as you all know, after 3 days of just sitting here, I was ready to come back to work. So yeah, I agree with what you said. I think it was very well stated.
What do you guys think of getting rid of the 2-hour minimum and just allow them to take it as necessary? I mean, we kind of let them do it as it is now. It's just we need to make sure the rule book.
That's what I do. If they need a vacation hour, fine. You tell me how you want to designate it. Do I not pay you or do I put it towards your vacation hours?
Yeah, I don't have no trouble with an hour. You know, at the end of the day, they want to go to the doctor or they got to take the kid to a ball game. They're in the summertime. They're not busy. Hey, I don't see anything wrong with it.
And to be honest, that type of flexibility is more important to employees today than the hourly rate. That is a fact. Can I take an hour and go to the doctor and call it a vacation hour? That is more important to an employee today than the rate of pay.
Yep.
Or to go see your grandson's Little League game.
Yep. There you go.
Absolutely.
I agree. Now, these all, this, you know, everybody has a different date. So this is the issue. So I started April 1st, 5 years ago, believe it or not. It's been that long. But anyhow, my anniversary date then is always April 1st. So to your point, Chuck, unless we change around when they get assigned vacation hours, they will get it. Like I didn't want to take my vacation last year. It's April 1st. Brian goes, you know, here are your vacation hours. I take my check in April. So that's another thing that I think is kind of, I don't like, to tell you the truth, because everybody's anniversary date's different. So that's a management nightmare in and of itself. You know, when does Brian's come up? When does Tim's come up? When does Missy's come up? And I don't know really how to solve that. And I think I'd have to noodle on that a bit to say, how can we get to just the end of year, which is the way that I think it should be. I think it should be the end of the year, like Chuck said. So, but that's just a little more information. This is really fighters.
Yeah, that's how I already work at the end of the year. You know, I started in June when I got out of the service, but that counted at 1 year, and I didn't have, like, June 1st didn't come my anniversary. It was at the end of the year, and I liked it, you know.
Well, and if we can, I think we can get to the end of the year, and you just say, you know, the vacation payouts will occur on the first paycheck in January for everybody up to that year. And then when you get someone that switches from, you know, 5 years to 10 years and they get an extra day, it gets prorated onto that end of that next year.
I think there's a way to do it, and I think it's a much cleaner way. I agree.
Now, let me ask this to Brian. If we switch to a payout and we move everybody to the end of the year, so their vacation, if they took it during 2021, would have been used in 2021. But if they haven't used it by December 31st, we're going to pay them for it in 2022. How does that affect the budgeting?
Well,
And the appropriations, I should say, for that.
That effect, well, that might take a hit initially to do that. I mean, they would be paid out of the same line that they get paid out of now.
Right.
It just depends on what kind of a budget's remaining in the salary line items for those funds. It would take an initial hit up front, but
But because we appropriate it in 2020 and we write the check in 2021, we still have it on the 2020 appropriation, correct?
I guess what I'm saying is when we budget the wages for the whole year, that includes when they take vacation, sick leave, and that kind of stuff. So if we wanted to reimburse them above and beyond, if we wanted to reimburse them or pay them for any unused vacation, we may have to shift some money maybe to cover that particular expense maybe at the end of the year to do that.
Well, I
Just for
guess
the one time though, just one
What?
time,
Yeah, that'd be just a one-time thing. Yes.
right? To reset the
to the end of the year.
Yes.
Yeah,
right.
Yes.
Well, what I'm asking is to make sure it's not an appropriation issue that the money is appropriated for 2021, but we're not paying it until 2022 because they didn't use the vacation in 2021.
That particular line item goes by a year basis. That's one of those direct expenditures where I don't have to issue purchase orders for. So that would fall on a 2022 budget versus a 2021 budget.
And I guess that's what I'm asking is, does that throw off the budget numbers because we're going to be paying in 2022 for 2021
Yeah, that would throw
vacation
off.
time?
Well, not if we
Or-
pay
or-
on December 31st.
No,
I was
no.
going to say, or do we just say it goes on your December 31st?
I say, let's keep it
Paycheck.
clean. Brian does his appropriations, from January to December. Let's keep it clean and do this the same way so that while we may have a one-time hiccup, the following year will be spot right on because he's not going to appropriate more wages than they would do if they weren't working. Do you understand? what I'm
Yeah, it
saying?
doesn't even seem like we take a hit if we keep it in the same year, really.
Right.
So
Right.
we should do it by the end of the year, for sure.
Yeah. I agree, Mr. Foreman.
I have a question on that. Whether it goes to, I guess for Brian and Ann, are they going to get paid all in one lump sum on a check? Or is it going to be like their regular check and then their 2 weeks vacation pay?
That would be a different kind of a paycheck. That would not be a normal paycheck per se. That would be like a leave payout type pay where they would not pay into like PERS or police and fire, but they get taxed at a higher rate though. Unfortunately, that's
So
the
to
downfall.
answer
Yeah,
your
but they'll
question,
get it
Mike, is it'll be a second check. They'll
Okay.
get two checks at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And they'll be taxed at a higher rate because it looks like they made more money than they usually
Right.
make, but they'll get it back.
Yeah.
In the end, it's annualized no matter what.
Well, that's what they did down when I was working at the sheriff's office, but somehow they got by with the taxes or without the taxes net. I don't know where it's because it was.
You can adjust the taxes based on the annual. Like the tax takeout is automatic and you could like add logic to it and change the tax reduction. But even if you don't, yes, they're going to get hit hard on the taxes, but when they file their tax return, they're going to get that money back.
Well,
Because
that's
they're only going to owe based on what they made annually.
right. All right. Well, that answers my question, I guess.
So I guess I'm looking, I could put something together and share it. If you want to make a motion I guess I'm looking for two things. To give me the approval to tell Brian to pay Missy last year's vacation time, and that you want to move forward with the changes, which I can come back and give you another look at, say at next rules meeting, and then get some legislation, or I can just type it up and ask Jeff to create legislation. And then like we do the other things, we won't pass that as an emergency. And then if we have to edit, we can. How does that sound?
Okay, so Foreman makes a motion to pay Missy for her lost vacation time from last year.
And I second that.
Okay.
One question on that, is Missy the only one in that category, or were there other employees that lost vacation time?
Missy was the only one.
Okay.
So we taking a vote?
I think we better. Brian,
Brian's muted.
I didn't hear a second.
I second it.
Keller.
Keller.
Second.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry. No, I didn't, I heard.
Yes.
Okay, Keller, yeah, Keller, Foreman,
Yes.
Hamilton,
yes,
Okay, and then Foreman makes a motion that we revisit the vacation policy and look for a new presentation from the VA to change the carryover hours and possibly the time and amount of hours allowed to be reimbursed at the end of the year.
A second. Keller seconds.
Can I have a question
And-
on that? Do you want me to go ahead and have legislation prepared at the next council meeting with that verbiage instead of waiting a month? Or do you want to, what would you like, Mr. Foreman?
Yes, please prepare legislation. We can discuss the legislation that way rather than just a recommendation. Go ahead with the legislation. We can always change it at that meeting.
you can always change it or send it back to committee if it needs to.
Yes,
Exactly.
thank
that
you.
was for carryover time, correct, Rick?
I was thinking about maybe moving carryover time to 80 hours and paying them for the balance. If we want to put that in legislation, we could discuss it at that time, but that's my initial suggestion for the legislation.
Okay, thank you.
okay.
So we have Mr. Foreman making the motion
And Keller seconded it.
and Keller second.
Right.
So Foreman,
Correct.
Yes.
Keller,
Yes.
Hamilton.
Yes,
Okay, I have a question. Now I have a question. Since we're paying for vacation time, I'm gonna have to do a calculation, see if that's how it's gonna affect this budget for this year, because Missy's paid 50% out of the water, 50% out of the sewer. Well, it works out a little bit out of the general fund for the mayor's court, but each pay, it's 38 hours, and 4 hours, I should say. That's how her pay breaks down each pay. And since I'm paying for last year out of this year, I'm gonna have to see what kind of an impact that's gonna be on this budget.
You could, let me form a sentence here, Brian. You think you could have that obviously for the next council meeting, and that way you could just update us on that budget impact when we talk about the first reading of the legislation?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
okay,
Mr. Hamilton, that's really all I had for rules tonight.
okay. If that's all, and we've covered the new vacation policy, not vaccination policy. So our next meeting then will be,
Oh, wait a minute, before you adjourn, I do
Okay.
have something. So I read the employee manual again today, and I'm going to hire some seasonal employees, as you all know, that you voted on. In the front of the manual, it says that the appointing authority for staff, and in the case of the police department, it'd be the mayor, can do evaluations. Tim and I have had several conversations, and if it's okay with you, and I don't think I need a motion unless the mayor tells me I do, but for the seasonal employees, I like to do an evaluation after 2 weeks, so I don't get somebody in there that doesn't work out for the whole summer and we're babysitting, basically. I need somebody to work, so I would like to do an evaluation at the end of 2 weeks and then at the end of 30 days.
I say, when we hire them, don't we hire them on a probationary status for a period of time?
We do, but it's not spelled out. It's spelled out in the employee manual when it comes to full-time employees as far as evaluations and keeping your employment, but it's not spelled out in the employee manual for seasonal or part-time help.
Well, why don't we do it like this then? Add that to our list of things to update in the employee handbook.
Okay.
But for now, if we have a motion that just says seasonal employees will be hired 1 month probationary status. And then you can do your evaluations whenever. That way you don't have to wait 2 weeks if someone's a real turd of an employee.
Because I like to
Just
hire
hire-
them this week. Yes.
Right. So I think if we have a motion that just says that seasonal employees first month will be on probation and it gets voted, we'll be okay.
Okay, Foreman makes a motion that all seasonal employees are hired based on a 1 month probationary hiring under review by the VA.
Keller seconds.
Brian, could you have roll call vote on that then? If you
Okay,
got it all.
Hamilton, you first. Hamilton,
Yes,
Keller,
Yes.
Foreman.
Yes.
And Mr. Hamilton, I apologize for springing that and not being on the agenda. Tim and I just had that conversation today as we were reviewing applications. So I apologize for that.
no apology necessary. We got it in there.
Thank you.
Before you adjourn there, Mike, how many applications you got so far?
Two.
Okay, I didn't, yeah, Tim said you didn't have any. When you said you had some, okay.
Right. Oh, he did. They were in his box. He's been so busy at the pool. He doesn't come into the office to see they were in his box. But yeah, we've had conversations about them. Well, really, we got 3 and 1 withdrew.
Okay.
I guess is the word. Sorry. So and so we're working on it. I hope to have 2 hired by the end of the week.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else before we? Could I have a motion for adjournment then?
Foreman
So
moves to adjourn.
Second.
Chuck, was that your second?
Yes.
Okay. All those in favor of adjournment signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Motion adjourned. We are
All right.
adjourned then.
Well, so we got some time until council, but don't forget at 7:15, I'll be starting a public hearing on the zoning change to allow ducks to our urban chickens. It's set up as a different Zoom meeting. So anyone on the line, you won't see the people talking, but you will if anybody joins. I'm going to pipe their audio in so you will be able to hear them.
Mayor?
Yeah.
While we're going to add ducks to that, and that's just chickens and fancy chickens and ducks, and correct?
Not
Say
what?
fancy. Just